All right, so welcome back to the Arch Blaze.
Hey.
Definitely, we definitely.
That was totally Phobos, because now everything's nice and pretty again. Now he's not sucking out the, Oh, who's that?
That is Pauline, the girl you save in Donkey Kong.
AKA not Peach?
Yes, not Peach.
Cool.
She wears a red dress in all the remakes,
I
as
see.
opposed to a pink dress in her original appearance.
I see.
Because remember, this is kind of halfway based on King Kong.
Oh.
I read on Reddit the other day that Donkey Kong was named Donkey Kong because Kong is supposed to refer to monkey, and donkey is supposed to mean, like, stubbornness. So he was supposed to be stubborn ape, but more colorful than that.
I see.
I have never gotten that. If they didn't tell me, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Oh, there's the place I'm supposed to be.
You did it.
I did it, Reddit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but I think we're going to talk about which?
We're talking about which, yeah.
Okay, I can remember.
So we have totally
I didn't
paused
remember.
So we have totally paused our retrospective watch through of Witch.
Oh, yes.
Because do you want to intro us on what Witch is?
So Witch is a magical girl series. It's an Italian magical girl series that used to be a comic. Disney reprinted it in English quite a while ago. I think it was an early 2000s thing. It kept running until 2012 when it finally ended. Come on, do it. Yes, I did the thing. Okay. It's about 5 girls who are what they call guardians of the.
Here, let me get that one while you talk.
Wait, hold on. I'm waiting for them to go.
You have to walk away and then come back.
I see.
You have to hit 30 jumps.
Fuck. Okay, yeah, you're doing this. Okay, so yeah, there's 5 girls. 4, they're all the Guardians of the Veil, or they're called Guardians of the Veil, but they kind of don't do that the entire time. Spoilers. 4 of them control elements. 1 is the holder of the Heart of Kandrakar and has sometimes undisclosed powers. Yeah, it's basically a magical girl series with some fantasy elements and magic and such. And when it crossed over to the US, there was a TV show that ran for 2 seasons interesting to say the least, the differences between the comic and the TV show. The TV show vastly sucks.
Vastly sucks.
Yeah, in comparison especially.
It
has a hard time standing on its own even.
There are so many things, I wonder a lot about the process of making this show because of how bad it is.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. Seeds from those potted plant things.
Mm-hmm. Here, I'll find it.
No, you won't.
That's so pathetic.
I found them already. No, you won't.
Fine!
Just remember that they're here.
Fine! Talkatoo!
This guy. This fucking guy.
But I grew up watching Witch. It was my favorite show, ever, essentially. Besides Batman, the Adam West series. Unironically. That and the Monkeys TV series. I didn't even read what he said. Oh well.
Did you realize that the Batman Adam West series was a comedy?
No, I didn't treat it as one.
I didn't either when I first watched it on Laserdisc. Because I'm fucking old.
I just watched it unironically, and I got mad. What the?
You got mad? You got mad?
Holy
You mad,
hell.
bro?
I was mad, bro. So there was this one time where. There's this one time where. So the show was being shown on MeTV, which was which is the Chicago. Well, maybe it's not just Chicago, but it was the channel where all the old shows go to essentially die and run on eternal reruns. And I got mad where they opted not to show the second part of a 2-part episode. They were all 2-part episodes. And instead showed some sort of, like, I don't know, college basketball game. I was so pissed about that. But yeah, back to Witch. It was...
That's a nice little cul-de-sac.
Yeah. It was one of my favorite TV shows, and I rewatched it once in, 2013.
You liked the first season but hated the second one,
yeah, that's
right?
what I came to in 2013, and then come recently where, you know, I've kind of, like, ever since we had the idea of me having a YouTube show, I wanted to do a sort of witch retrospective, because it was such a huge part of my life at one point. So, you were interested in it too, because, you know, you weren't able to watch it because you're a guy, and
yes, and
guys aren't apparently allowed to watch interesting things.
That is correct. I saw maybe 3 episodes, but the gender police got me, and I wasn't allowed to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay, to be clear, I wasn't literally not allowed to watch it. I just didn't because I had complicated feelings about, like gender pressure and stuff like that. Same reason why I really, really liked Sailor Moon, and I did not watch Sailor Moon outside of one little marathon when they ran it on Toonami in the afternoon. They did it one time, and then I was really into it, but I could not watch it because other people in my family would then know that I watched the show. So I didn't.
That sucks.
Yeah. And Sailor Moon is also like 1 billion years long because it has 52 episode seasons and like 5 of them.
Yeah, right? Yeah, and so you wanted to watch it, and I wanted to rewatch the show just to remember...
Witch. We're talking about Witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wanted to rewatch it, you know, remember the good old days. So we go to watch it, and
the first couple episodes are pretty decent.
No, they're garbage. I don't know what you're on about, but I thought they were garbage. Like they weren't the worst, but they were definitely very poor start.
There was a lot of ideas in the first couple episodes that were well developed. Maybe not delivered on to 100%, but there was definitely a lot there. There's it's like implied depth. Like sometimes when you're watching a show, you can tell, okay, I can see that they had ambitions that stretched beyond what they were able to do, and there were probably like some script revisions partway through animation, and because of like the time crunch involved in making a TV show, they just weren't able to deliver on the thing that they wanted. That happens in My Little Pony all the time. Usually it tends to work out pretty well for Pony, but occasionally it like screws up the moral of the episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll give it that.
But as it goes on, we're now in the middle of season 1.
Yeah.
Where we have been for the last 2+ weeks, because we just can't pick the show back up again because it's hard to watch.
Mainly me. I'll admit it. It's mainly me that, struggles
You get tired. You get tired from watching it because you get tired from everything, especially things that you dislike.
Yeah, and I didn't remember it being so bad.
It's pretty bad. And I don't... that hurts to say because I want it to be good.
Same here. I'll admit, even the comics aren't, the pinnacle of storytelling, but they're just still better. Excuse me,
yeah,
gosh.
it's...
You get a strong sense that they don't fully know where they're going when they start out, but once they get the idea, then it starts making sense. Whereas...
And the Witch comic totally brought me back to Animorphs, because it is a hokey, team-based, adventure series that has comedy elements to it, where some people have wow, there's a lot of coins in there.
What am I supposed to do with this thing?
Nothing. You
I thought
you
that
got
was
the
an
coin out of
arrow.
it already.
I thought it was an arrow.
All right, so
I don't want to be back up here.
Animorphs was a team-based book series. One came out every single month for like 72 months, whatever that takes, plus some anthology books that would be difficult to track down. But you can get a PDF of like 100% of the entire collection. Anyway, a team of teenagers, maybe middle schoolers, I think. Yeah, middle schoolers. Gain the ability to touch an animal, acquire its DNA, and transform into that animal. And they have an infinite backlog of these animals. And they fight a war, except it's like a real serious, hard-hitting, adult-style war that just also occasionally happens to have doofy episodes with a scenery-chewing villain. And when I say serious war, like, they heal when they transform. So they will get dismembered, feel 100% of the pain, and then like have the trauma of being dismembered and regrowing their limbs and going back to fight again and again for years.
Jeez.
These kids are just destroyed by the end of this. Like they have. It is hard. It's hard to communicate how wrecked these kids get, because like at one point towards the end of the series, spoilers, there's a colony ship full of the guys that they're fighting are parasitic slugs that wrap around inside your brain and enslave you, but they need to feed they need to get basically sunlight, but sunlight from their own planet, so they have machines to do that. So they dunk your head underwater, and they swim out, and now you regain control of your body. You had to watch as they did everything in your life, and now you're free, but they restrain you in a cage, and then they lead you out as a prisoner, force your head back underwater, and you get reimplanted by whoever is supposed to be.
Jeez.
Yeah. And that is your life now. That is your life until you die. These are the enemies. Okay?
New Donk City.
And one of the main characters, the leader of the group, his brother is infested. His brother, they know for a fact that his brother is one of the enemies, so he can't talk to his family about it.
Jeez.
And they get recruited to fight a war by a whole bunch of aliens. By a whole bunch of aliens, I mean one, who is injured and talks to them briefly before he is eaten alive in front of them in the first book.
What fuck?
And because the guy is telepathic, like, the aliens are telepathic, and so they get the ability to, like, they're basically in a psychic Skype call as long as they're within range of each other. And so the guy, they can hear his screams as he is being eaten alive.
Jeez.
So they're fighting this war and getting routinely dismembered. And towards the end of the series, the main character is so, like, destroyed by war that he like winds up capturing a colony ship that has thousands of these parasitic aliens, and they need, like, they are useless slugs who realize they are useless slugs, and they need to be in a host in order to have any semblance of life that's not just them being useless slugs.
Mm-hmm.
And the colony ship that he commandeers, that he captures, is full of civilians in addition to combatants. And he ejects all of them into space, knowingly executing thousands of people. Because they are, like, they're Nazis, but they're still people.
Jeez.
And that was like the guy who gave them their powers was in the same situation a few years back, and knowing like he couldn't do it. That was where he crossed the line, where he drew the line. But not Fearless Leader. Yeah, it's a super dark war story, and there's elements of that in which, like, in the comic at least, when the girls go to Kandrakar, they leave magical copies of themselves behind. Like, we could die, we might never come back. There's got to be somebody to take.
They don't go to Kandrakar. You're thinking of when they go to Meridian.
Meridian, yeah. I just spaced the name.
Yeah.
Pardon. Yeah, that level of, well, we might die.
Yeah, right.
That brought me back to Animorphs so hard. Now, obviously, Animorphs is a lot more hard-hitting because, I mean, listen to that shit that I just dropped on you right now. In retrospect, I don't think my parents knew that the book series was that intense.
Probably not.
And they had some interesting like they would tell you what the experience of being that animal was like. Like, you would be, when you turn into that animal, you get overpowered by a wave of instincts, and you have to be able to master it. And so there, like, one of the more terrifying books was when they became ants, because ants are like, or any eusocial insect like that, because they were utterly dominated by the programming of being an ant. Yeah. That was messed up. And they kind of all made a pact to never become ants ever again.
Yeah. That's a good team builder thing, though. I'm sure.
Yeah. And there were actually lots of different kinds of aliens that were very different from each other. Like, and when I say alien, I mean like Orson Scott Card level, truly alien aliens. Not like, not like your typical Star Trek aliens. Like, the main bad guys are parasitic brain slugs. The main good guy aliens anyway, are centaur. They're kind of like manticore centaurs, because they're like a person with 7 fingers who has a second set of eyes on the top of their heads that swivel on stalks, and they have bladed tails, like a tail with a blade on the end. And they're telepathic, and they have no mouths, and they absorb grass through their hooves to eat. Yeah. And it just keeps going from there with what the aliens are like. Yeah. Cool stuff. Unfortunately, it's also frequently hokey because this is still aimed at like 10 to 12-year-olds. But it fucking doesn't sound like it, does it? Because that's like anime intense.
Seriously? Oh god.
Like, anytime somebody tries to tell me that shonen anime is not for kids, I'm gonna bring up Animorphs. I went on a huge Animorphs tirade right there.
Yeah, you did.
Let's get back to Witch. Let's get back to Witch.
I don't know what else to say about it. Just
you want the show to be better. You wanted, past tense.
I still want it to be better. I know it won't happen, but
and to such a degree that it makes it physically difficult to watch.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Just getting bored of just watching it suck all the time.
Mm-hmm. And it sucks in such obvious ways, like...
Yeah, like, how did they not do this thing that they should have done?
You don't have infinite time.
I do. I would've.
Now you don't.
I would've.
Yeah, you don't have infinite time on those things.
It let me be on there for quite a long time. I was just trying to figure out how to not die. And I even still like the first arc is of that I've read in like the first. What the fuck? What
Yeah,
even happened?
the first arc of the books.
Yeah. First arc, basically the first 3 volumes of the graphic novel. They're fine enough. I mean, they're not great, but they're decent. I'm just concerned though because I've read some concerning things about it coming to suck later. So
I still want the whole series because I'm now super invested in the comic.
yeah, I'm invested in 2 now. Fucking hell! How did I do that?
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah, but so from what I read, some fans weren't really pleased with the new redesign.
yeah, but you've seen what Degrassi fans are like.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm taking it with a grain of salt. But I'm just like, okay, good to know.
Because a lot of those people are like, you changed it, now you suck.
Yeah, originalists.
Those are the same people who say that there's only 150 Pokemon, and those people can fuck right off.
Again, did it again.
Like, what, games can't have sequels?
Yeah, right.
Is there only one Final Fantasy game? Fuck you.
Yeah, right.
What do you think of Final Fantasy?
No opinion, no interest.
No interest. Have you ever played any JRPGs?
Wouldn't you? Yeah. Wouldn't you? Whatchamacallit? Persona has JRPG elements.
Persona is a JRPG visual novel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't get very far. No, you got way farther than me. Never mind.
I got decently far, but I also played. We had this one JRPG, Once Upon a Time. I can't remember the name of it. I had played a lot of it.
Next time on tap.
Why? Oh.
Because we finished the subject. That's why.
Okay.
I mean, we're not talking about Witch anymore, right?
I guess.
Yeah. Next time on tap.
Well, I wanted those.